Hello YouTube. This is me, Dan, behind the camera. It's my lovely glamorous assistant, Alex. Also my girlfriend / carer. And it's a Sunday afternoon, so that means we're making a Sunday dinner. Where are we off to?
Big Tesco.
Big Tesco's. We're off to Big Tesco's. We're gonna get some food and hopefully show you some nice dishes. How does that sound? Great. All right, we'll catch you up in a bit when we're at Tesco's. Right. Findings. Just to start us off. Always essential to get your 5 a day, innit, babe? Right, well. Red spuds. Right, I need the all-rounders. Right, essentials. King Edwards for roasties and reds for mash. Now, my girls love both, so Papa's got to do both. Lovely red cabbage.
I don't like cabbage.
Cauliflower and tender stems.
What are you doing with that cabbage?
Cabbage is getting braised. We're going to do some braised red cabbage.
Only for you. Me and Bebs don't like cabbage.
Well, the people need to know.
Oh, okay, right.
Onions.
Content cabbage.
Content cabbage. Rosemary, thyme, garlic. One whole large chicken. Just flour for Yorkies. Same with the milk. It's an essential for a Sunday roast. Now, we need something for dessert, baby. What do you want for dessert?
Am I supposed to answer?
Cheesecake?
Okay.
Cheesecake. You're very welcome. For dessert, lemon and mascarpone Tesco's finest cheesecake. There can be only one. Okay, we're rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentle beans, and we picked up some ice cream, some Ben & Jerry's, chocolate fudge brownie for the mother-in-law, and strawberry donut-y from Ben & Jerry's. So we're going to try them out later with the #1 Tesco's finest cheesecake. Absolute staple. One large whole chicken. Now the key with that is obviously seasoning. We're just going to keep it nice and simple. We're just going to rosemary, thyme, salt and pepper it. Always flour for the Yorkies. Milk for tea, obviously. And baby, you like these, don't you? These are the dark chocolate blueberry true fruits. Very tasty, check them out. They're in the frozen aisle at Tesco's. What else have we got in here? Just some cooking oil. Obviously that's an essential. And then I've got some lovely Mount Rosier South African Merlot from the cheap section. British red potatoes for mashing. Green beans. Cauliflowers. Obviously you've got to have the carrots, it's a Sunday roast. Garlic, onions, just for flavour. That's going to go in with the chicken. Red cabbage for braising. And then, because the girls love having two variants of mashed potatoes, with their roasts, I've got some normal all-rounder King Edwards. These are great for roasting. I believe it's the wax content. It's in them that makes them really good for roasting. And then my absolute favourite, I have it with every meal I can, tender stem broccoli. It's just that's going to get sautéed up with some butter, obviously salt and pepper, and then another staple in our house is cokes. And it's got to be original full fat every time, innit? All right, and that is the haul. So now we're going to crack on and get it prepped up. I'm going to get my apron on, and yeah, see you back in 2 seconds. Little chefy tip for you. Little wet cloth right underneath the chopping board stops it from sliding around. So the first things first is when it comes to roast dinners, fry-ups, it's all about timing. In fact, pretty much 90% of all cooking is about timing. So I'm going to do the chicken now, and I'm going to spatchcock it, which should take anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour, but 180 in the oven. Chicken out of the packaging. Now any American viewers would say, oh my god, why aren't you washing it? Our chicken comes a lot better processed in the UK, so I personally don't believe that you need to. However, brining in salt water, if you have the time to do your chicken the night before, that's always a good thing to do. I say that is the best way to do chicken, is when you've got enough time, prep it the day before, cover it in salt water and vinegar and sugar, and you'll just lock in those flavours. Maybe throw in like a clove in there or something like that. Some bay leaves always, just like your dried herbs. But spatchcocking is essentially, you're just taking the backbone out. So you're taking the spine out of the chicken, just nice and easy. Just like that. So you've got no more spine left in the chicken. You flip it over, get those ribs resting, and then you just kind of want to punch it down. It doesn't take much effort, but what you're essentially doing is just opening the chicken up now, so heat can disperse all the way through it. And then at this stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck some oil in there. I'm going to get my roasting tray. Make sure it's a decent sized roasting tray as well, just so that can really, like, the heat can really get in there. You've got plenty of room to put stuff like your vegetables if you want to roast it in the chicken juices. So I'm going to get some just normal vegetable oil. You can go fancier if you want to, but vegetable oil really just does do the job. So I'm going to sprinkle some of that on the skin. Just make sure it's a nice little coating. That's going to help the salt and pepper bind to the skin of the chicken. Let's chuck that in the wash. Lovely. Now when you're a pro chef, you'll get really good at throwing stuff from one side of the kitchen to the other and hitting the target. You ask any chef you know, and they'll tell you they're like Michael Jordan in the kitchen. So yeah, we're just going in with the salt and pepper. Just be nice and generous with it, because it hasn't been brined, and we're doing this quite quickly. The seasoning won't have had a chance to actually penetrate into the meat itself. That's where, like I was saying, brining comes in, because the chicken just draws in all that water with all the flavour, salt, pepper, bay leaves, all sorts in there that just really sucks it up. You leave that overnight. So I'm just going to chuck this in the oven as it is, and that's just going to bake away for about 45 minutes. Then I'm going to move on to my vegetables and start prepping them up as well. So see you in a sec for that. Okay, so I'm doing the King Edward spuds now. These are the ones that we're going to be roasting. I'm literally just going to peel them up, get these skins off them, and I'm putting the peels directly into the pan. That's just a little chefy tip that I've learned in the industry, so that you're not just making loads of mess everywhere. I will be giving them a rinse afterwards. Some people rinse their potatoes before they've peeled them, and I just think, well, what's the point in that? You're just going to be taking the skins off anyway. So yeah, just save yourself a little bit of time, and just peel them straight out of the bag. Any black bits that you get on your spuds like this, it's good to kind of cut them out. So I'm just gonna cut that out like that. It's quite a big one. It's a deep eye. So there we go. Just cut that out. And then we'll probably speed this bit up, won't we? We'll speed this bit up. So we're going to go in with our roasting spuds here. I can tell they're the roasting ones because they're a little bit lighter, whereas these are the red ones, they're kind of dark, a little bit more yellow. So we're just going to cut them into nice little roasty shapes. Doesn't have to be like no money. Sponsored ad Coke break. Hits the spot. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the mashed potatoes. Obviously the smaller you cut them, the quicker they'll cook. And then I'm just going to wash these, wash all that horribleness off there that I've gotten from the cooking, from the peeling, sorry. So I'm going to rinse them off. So just covered. I'm going to go straight on the hob. I'm going to recut this last one. Common misconception with potatoes is just how much salt they can take. So I like to really put quite a lot of salt on them as they're boiling in the water. You want to season that water as they're cooking because it really penetrates into the potato as it's cooked, because the potatoes will suck up a lot of water. Salt is the best way and easiest way to get flavour in all of your cooking. It just brings out all the natural flavours of whatever it is you're cooking. So I'm going to move on to the carrots now. Get them peeled up and chopped up, and I'll show you how to do that too. So that was the carrots. They're pretty much just chopped up nicely to get roasted and boiled. I've put them in a steamer stack. I really recommend getting one if you haven't got one. It's a really good way to just cook multiple things all at the same time. And if you've got delicate stuff like broccoli and cauliflower that doesn't need boiling to death, steaming it is the best way to do it in one of these stacks. You can get them relatively cheap from Tesco. I think I got that one for my birthday. So I can't give you an accurate price on that, but obviously in an ideal world, all of these like offcuts, I'd stick into like a big pan and use that as a stock, and that would make an incredible gravy or a jus of sorts. But I can go into that in another episode if you're enjoying the content. Let me know, what's your favourite thing to have with a Sunday roast? Who do you have a Sunday roast with? What do Sunday roasts remind you of? Sunday roasts always remind me of my nan. You're pointing the camera at me because I'm being cheesy, but it's true. Sunday roasts always remind me of my nan, family, and that's really what it is. I think English food gets a lot of stick, doesn't it? For being bland and not having any flavour and this, that and the rest. No, I mean, to some extent, I definitely agree. But it's homely food. It's not so much what you're eating, it's who you're eating it with. And that is the most important thing about cooking. That's what I enjoy the most about cooking is I know I'm going to be feeding people that like it and enjoy it. Anyway, should stop being cheesy, shouldn't I, babe? So what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting the woody bits off of the tender stem broccoli. Where they cut the broccoli off the stems, you get this woody bit at the bottom, and that's no good for anyone to eat. So what I do is I just cut the edges off, and then you've got a nice little floret there. Obviously, it's got to be on an angle. Old habits die hard, babe. Get that in the pan. But yeah, see all of these little offcut bits, these are all things that you can use in a stock, and they just make an incredible stock. So I do feel a little bit bad about throwing that away, but I have got the compost bin and I'll be putting it in there, so it won't be going to landfill and filling up landfill. So we're doing our part in with bed. I'm going to get some green beans in there as well. They cook around the same time as the tender stem, so I'm happy to just kind of chuck these in with them as well. And same rules apply really. You get these horrible little woody bits on the end. No one wants to eat that, and it's a bit of Bit of a rigmarole, as my nan would say. Getting them all lined up. But if you can, just try and nip the ends off them like that. And then the same on the other side. And I'm not going to do loads because it's just 3 people eating this tonight. But there you go, you've got clean little green beans there. And they're safe to just go straight in there, and that'll get steamed at the same time as the carrots. Next on the agenda is red cabbage, and I'm going to show you how to do braised red cabbage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some red cabbage with an onion, and I'm also going to get a couple of garlic cloves as well, and then I'm going to saute them in the pan with a little bit of butter and a little bit of oil. You want to try and get as much of the skin of the garlic off as you possibly can, and then with the hilt of your knife you want to just gently press them, and that cracks the root at the top of the garlic, and it splits it so that you've got a nice access point in there, and you can just peel it back from there. Obviously this makes your fingers stink. Completely get why people buy like garlic now. You get pre-processed garlic in there, but it's cheaper buying it from fresh. Yes, takes a little bit more time to prep, but the benefits just speak for themselves in the cooking. When you get them compliments, there's no better feeling, and you know it's because
Jar garlic tastes like vinegar.
that's because it's pickled in vinegar. Jar garlic is pickled in vinegar. And I'm not going to go crazy with these. Be really careful with your fingers doing this, obviously. If you have a parent or guardian that you're watching this with, please get them to help you out when you're handling sharp objects, because I've cut my fingers plenty of times and I can tell you it is not fun, and I wouldn't recommend it. So yeah, that's all I'm going to do for mine. That's all I'm really looking for. That'll give me enough flavour in there that I'm after. And I'm going to put that straight in. And then, like always with everything, all of my cooking, baby, you'll be the first person to say, salt and pepper everything, absolutely everything. It is fundamental for your cooking. If you want to get the most out of not a lot, the best way you can do that is salt and pepper. Simple as. So that's our mix now, that's what we're looking at. That's going to go straight on the hob with the potatoes. I'm going to get that cooking. Happy days. What I've got here essentially is just a little bit of oil and a little bit of butter with my salt and pepper in there, and I'm just going to cook this until it's nice and soft, and then we're going to finish it off in red wine. So that is where it gets most of its flavour from. That's where it's going to pick up that zing from braised cabbage. Hopefully, if you're not having fun when you're cooking, then why are you cooking in the first place? You tell me. Because they've got to eat, because they've got to feed themselves, that's what mother-in-law says. So, my spuds have gotten to the point now where they're not quite soft all the way through, but I can still get the knife into them, so that's a good indicator to me that they're ready to go into the oven. So I'm going to drain the water off of these now and get them on a roasting tray, get them in an oven. Look at that, beautiful. So that needs a little bit of vegetable oil in there, just a splash like that, and then, oh, rosemary and thyme. You don't want to go too crazy on rosemary. If you put too much in, it can kind of get like medicinal. A couple of sprigs of thyme in there. Beautiful stuff. So now I've got some craggly bits on there. That's what's going to make your potatoes nice and crusty. Straight on. No messing, no mincing. So there we go. Spread them out nice and even. That's what they should look at when they're going into the oven. I'm going to put that underneath the chicken there. This has had about a half hour in there. You see them juices. We want to get that nice and crispy. We'll probe that in a bit. But I reckon it needs another half hour. So if you see here, babe, That on the bottom there, that's what you call fond. That's essentially all the nice flavours coming out of that cabbage and sticking to the bottom of the pan, and we want that. That's where all the flavour is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick a couple of star anise in there. That's a Chinese herb. It's got a very like aniseedy flavour. If you've ever had licorice, that's essentially the flavour of aniseed.
Sambuca.
Yes, sambuca as well, babe. Yeah, you're right. Did you say we've got some cinnamon?
Yes.
So I'm going to put a little stick of cinnamon in here as well. Oh, it smells delicious. It smells lovely.
I bought that for a full moon ritual.
Did you? How did the full moon ritual go?
I think you meant to like burn it or something at the front door.
I see. Okay, so that's a nice little consistency there. That's a nice little texture. So now I'm going to go in with my Mount Rosier. That'll do. The next step, iconic to any good roast dinner, is your Yorkshire puddings. And there's lots of different ways that people make Yorkshire puddings. Mine Yorkshire puddings, I'm going to be honest, I don't think they're the best. But I'll show you how I was taught and how I do them. And that is equal parts. So that's equal parts egg, equal parts milk, and equal parts flour. So what I do for that is I'll get my eggs in a measuring cup, and then I'll just mark where the line is. So I'll mark to there, and then I'll pour that up to the line as well. If you're from Yorkshire and you think that there's a better way of doing it, or you just think there's a better way of doing Yorkies, again, leave a comment down below and let me know, because I'm always up for ideas of how I can improve. And if you think I'm missing out on anything, don't be shy with an actual whisk. I think that's good, and then I'm going to put that in the fridge, wait until I need it, because they won't need to go in until the end. But we've got pretty much everything else ready cooking now, so it's just a bit of a process of waiting for this stuff to be cooked. But in terms of prep wise, I think we've just got the gravy left that needs to go in the oven. So my carrots are done now. I can just about get the knife through them, and they're slipping off, not massively, but they've got a nice bite to them. So that's the point where I want to get them out of the boiling water and then into the oven. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to salt and pepper these, put some rosemary and thyme on them before I put them into the oven, because I'm going to put them in with the chicken juices, and all the fat that's come out of the chicken is what's going to cook these carrots. Put a thumbs up in the comment section if you think that Alex is doing a good job of the filming. I think she is. I think she's doing a great job. She's been very patient with me, but she has to be as my carer. A few bits of rosemary in there, just for some nice aromatics. Exactly the same with some thyme. And don't worry too much about getting the stalks in. If we were making a sauce, I'd definitely say take them out, but this is proper rustic British cooking, and things like stalks in is what makes it authentic and tasty. So this is what the chicken's looking like now. Look at that. What do you think, babe?
Good.
Yeah? She wouldn't say otherwise. So yeah, this chicken is probably going to be ready in the next 5 to 10, I think. But we've got a nice crisp there. Bring the camera in, babe. Beautiful, beautiful crispy skin there. That's exactly what we want. So this is going to go back into the oven now. I'm going to pull it out again in 10 minutes. Things are starting to come together now. Everything's sort of, it's either cooking or cooked. Everything's been prepped. So now is a perfect opportunity to start cleaning up any mess. And this is a really good tip for anyone who's looking to get into maybe chefing or the industry as a whole. Any chef worth his salt will tell you, clean as you go, clean as you go, clean as you go. So now everything's kind of cooking. I'm just sort of stood around, I'm just waiting for this stuff to cook. So I'm going to clean it all down now, make sure that my side is looking nice, and you get some great brownie points from mum, or you get some great brownie points from your chef, and they'll be dead happy with you. So that's what I'm going to do. Taken the braised cabbage off the heat because, as you can see, all the wine is now reduced down. So the alcohol is cooked off, and we're left with just the flavour of the wine now. That cabbage and onions will have soaked up all of the flavours from the star anise, from the cinnamon, but it's just a little bit tart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add maybe a spoonful of brown muscovado sugar. There we go. Just to kind of balance those flavours out, because you don't want it to be too sharp. So I'm going to put that, mix that in, put that back on the heat for maybe another 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm going to take it off and try it again. Right, so chicken is about done, I think. It's been in for a good 45-50 minutes. So I'm going to get my probe here, and I'm going to temp it in the biggest part of the meat and see what degrees it is. That's coming up at, what's that saying, about 90 degrees. So we do it in 3 places just to make sure it's cooked all the way through. So the breast's done, the legs are done, and yeah, it's all good to me. That is a cooked chicken. So I'm going to put that on a plate to rest. Stick it on a plate there to rest. Oh, yeah, they look good. They look really good. My mashed potatoes, they're nice and cooked. I like to go in with a generous amount of butter into these, and then just simply mash them. Sometimes if I feel like the consistency's off, then I'll put some milk in there, which I think this is probably going to need. You can also use cream if you like really, really creamy potatoes, but I like mine not too fine. A lot of chefs will put it through what's called a moulie, which is like a tub with a handle on it, and you'll swirl it around with the potatoes in, and there's like 2 blades that sit on the bottom. So this is the bottom, and then there's a blade that kind of rotates around and it pushes it through almost like a sieve, and that's how you get like really finely mashed potatoes. But as long as your spuds are binding and sticking together once you get a spoon in there, then I'd say you've pretty much got it. Looking yummy? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So I'll get the lid on that, put that just back on the heat. I tried the cabbage. After putting some sugar in it, that's really sorted out. It's really balanced the flavour. So I've got my green beans and tender stem broccolis here. What I'm going to do, what I like to do with these is just saute them. It just kind of brings a depth to them, gives them their own standalone flavour. So to do that, a little bit of butter, and get that melting off in the pan. And I'm literally just going to really quickly dice up some garlic here as well, actually. And this is a little bit technical, but this is how professionals in professional kitchens mince garlic. Can be quite fiddly, so please, if you're not confident, don't try this until you've... Well, actually, you know what, I'd say practice, but be very careful, because you can cause yourself some injury with this one. But this is how you get really thinly diced garlic, and that is what's going to go in here. Come around, baby. So that's smelling really nice and nutty. Now obviously, always salt and pepper. S&P. Lovely. And then in with the garlic. And we're just going to toss that veg in with that garlic, in with that salt and pepper. Just gently cook it out so we get rid of the sharpness of the garlic and the veg can take on the lovely shine of the butter.
I'm in my belly shining bright, diamonds dancing in the night, Ferrari parked under moonlight, living fast but feeling right. My bed wave, champagne rain, golden order, no more pain. Every second ultra prime, luxury written in time. Luxury written in time.
Alright, so here's the finished product. This was just a quick and simple dinner, just as, you know, just in case no one knew how to do it. By all means, there are so many more better people out there that can cook a Sunday roast. Some good ones to look at is Jack and Will from Fallow Chefs. I definitely check them out. They do a really good video on how to cook a Christmas dinner, and it's essentially the same thing, but this is mine. So obviously we've got loads of chicken there, mashed potatoes, roasties that have got some lovely crisp to them. They're still nice and fluffy on the inside. Roasted carrots, Yorkies, cauliflower, and then of course, you can't forget your standard Bisto gravy. And that is our Sunday dinner. Thanks for joining us, thanks for coming along. If you've got this far in the video, please don't forget to leave a little like or a subscribe at the bottom. That'd be really cool and we really appreciate it. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you like the video. See you later. Saw these when we were walking around, Walker's hot honey flavoured crisps, and I absolutely love hot honey, so I thought let's get on this. It's also a little shameless plug. I have already opened the packet, but I promise it's the first time tasting, so let's go. They could definitely do with some salt. It's a very subtle flavour. It almost tastes like plain crisps, but then once you've chewed it, you are getting the heat on the side of the palate. The honey is very, very mild though. Yeah, I'd say if you like subtle flavours and just a hint of it, if you're a ready salted enjoyer, you'll probably like these. 4.5 out of 10. They're alright. Definitely need some salt though. Want to eat?
No.